of the vast database of American phone records. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Your news now continues. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry has announced the filing of a petition supplement naming persons who may have information related to the use of explosives at the World Trade Center. The Free Thought Project reports that Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth says the 33-page document contains 15 different categories of persons who may have information material to the investigation, including contractors and security companies that had access to the World Trade Center towers before 9/11, persons and entities who benefited financially from the demolitions, and persons arrested after being observed celebrating the World Trade Center attacks. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry successfully submitted a petition to the federal government demanding that the U.S. Attorney present to a special grand jury extensive evidence of yet-to-be-prosecuted federal crimes relating to the destruction of 3 World Trade Center towers on 9/11/2001. After waiting months for the reply, the U.S. Attorney responded in a letter, noting that they will comply with the law. Venezuelan authorities continue working to bring back online the electric grid following a massive outage that began Thursday, March 7th. According to the anti-media, on-ground testimonies and official sources say that power finally began to reach Venezuela's western states on Monday night. Electricity has now been restored, at least in some areas of every state. President Nicolas Maduro gave a televised address Tuesday evening, offering more details about the alleged attack against the country's electrical infrastructure. According to Maduro, both the computerized system in the Curry Dam on Thursday afternoon and the central electrical brain in Caracas on Saturday morning suffered cyber attacks, while recovery was delayed by physical attacks against transmission lines and electrical substations. Maduro claimed that the attacks were directed from Chicago and Houston, and that more evidence will be presented soon. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A harrowing situation on Broad Street came to its conclusion Thursday night as a group of hostages were freed from local comedy club The Laugh Up Lounge after a tense 7-minute stand-up set.
Every once in a while, he'd grab his notebook, and I'd think maybe this is it. Maybe he's going to let us go. But he just kept talking.
Additionally, The Onion recovered this video footage from the cell phone of one of the many captives.
Please, if someone sees this, help us. Please help us.
Yeah, micromanagement. You guys are totally going to wang it out.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, no.
Cool.
I'm not a religious person, but at one point I said the Lord's Prayer, and it actually had a calming effect, like Jesus was standing next to me and said, "You're going to get through this."
I mean, sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, don't take life for granted because you just never know when something like this could happen. So,
this is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us
declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Bangor, Maine. Live from the, I don't know what the hell we got. We got to give this thing a name, man. You know, Derek's got a thing. We got to give it a name. We'll give it a name. Well, we're here, not from the beautiful studios of freedomsphoenix.com, but from the, I don't know, Jay. Jay Noon's here. Jay Noon, Derek Slopey. All right, Jay. We should be, we didn't even test these mics or get them, make sure we got it going on here. Oh, should we give this place a name, you think?
I mean, I was thinking.
Okay, wait. We got to get your mic turned up here. Is that it? Go.
How about that? How's that work? Got a little echo in there?
No. Are you hearing yourself on this?
I do hear myself in the headset, yes.
Okay, let me see. All right, go ahead and talk. Make sure it's going out.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
All right, yeah. Sounds like it's going.
Got me?
Looks like I got you. Looks like you're going. It might be a switch. Are you hearing him when he's talking? Oh, yeah, turn your mic on. Oh, you got a fancy mic. Derek's got switches and stuff. There it goes. Is that it? I thought that was on. It doesn't matter. So one thing that we're going to do is make sure that, I don't know, are you going to be doing shows here? Are you going to get a studio? Are you going to have, I could change this port. Try that one.
All right, how about that? Yeah, I think.
Say good morning, Jay.
Good morning. Oh, yeah, this one works a lot better.
We'll try that one again, because I think I got it on.
Morning.
It might be the cable. All right, we'll share a mic here for a little bit, All right, Jay Noon, morning.
Morning, Ernie.
You just got in. When did you get in?
Oh, about 3 a.m.
I know.
Drove through a blizzard.
Really?
Yeah, from Portsmouth, New Hampshire to, about mile marker 140-ish or so.
Oh, 140. Oh, I know where 140 is. That's where that one tree is, right?
There's a couple trees there. Moose crossing
You guys
signs.
From the rural, take a turn at the Fifth Oak. I mean, you're killing me. So it was blizzarding on the way up here, man. That's we had a little bit of snow. The thing is that it's been kind of warmish here. I know Derek's been going on about how warm it is because stuff's like melting everywhere and so on, but then it's ice overnight.
Oh yeah. So I have about the same weather conditions probably that Derek has. I'm in New Hampshire. I'm further from the coast. Derek's a little more north. And so I bought 18 yards of sand in the fall, and I've got probably about 4 yards left because every couple days or almost every day I got to throw some down somewhere where the sun melts it just a little bit on the driveway, and then it turns into a sheet of ice. And, I got people come and visit me and, people that live on my property, and I don't want to be I don't want them getting hurt. I don't want my friends getting hurt. So I stand in the driveway constantly. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that mic. But
I got another one. We'll get it in a break.
It was a little bit of an intense drive. There was a lot of it. You can only go 30, 35 miles an hour just because you just couldn't see. So, we literally went about, I think it took us like 4 hours to go a little over 100 miles at one point.
Damn.
Yeah.
How long in the summer is that dry?
Oh, we usually can be here in about 4 hours, but you can hammer down, run 75 most of the way. The speed limit's 70.
How long did it take you this time?
Well over 6. And where I could go fast, I did go, I went 70, 75. But as soon as we got about 40 miles south of here, maybe 50 miles south, about 40 miles south of here, it was clear. Just went right along.
Okay, one of the things we're really looking forward to, we've had Jay Noon on the show a lot. We'll talk about his man camp.
Yes.
He's got to man us up, too. So one of the things is I got, a little BuzzBox, a little Lincoln welder, and I got a little wire feed, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I built a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things that I want, but it's a lot of grinding. It's been a lot of, I've been really, working it to try and get these welds to hold. I just don't know what I'm doing. So while we were talking about it, you were down in Manchester, and you go, man, there's this one guy, he's got this really awesome welder, really cheap. And Derek goes, mine, boom, done. Say, screw you, Ernie. You're not here. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get it. So, and you brought it up here.
Yeah, I did.
And you're going to give us a man camp on some welding. And we've been busting ass, getting stuff clean and doing electrical, and kind of, in the room and kind of heated and everything. So we can learn some welding. What are you going to do for us?
Oh, yeah. So we're going to get this thing wired in. Derek, is there 3-phase here?
No, there's not.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. This welder will do 3-phase or single phase. We're going to get it wired in. I brought the forge up and some blacksmithing tools.
Okay, whoa. Tell us more about this forge thing.
So I got a forge.
Which is, how's it look? How big? What is the design? How's it fired?
It's a dual burner propane forge. So basically it's a metal box that has like fire prick inside it, and it's got 2 propane burners in it. You light it and it gets hot. Actually, propane by itself isn't really quite hot enough to really work with steel. So inside the furnace, the firebox, you have what's called refractory, which basically reflects all the heat back inside. If you just had these propane burners just sitting out in an open, heating up a piece of steel, you wouldn't even be able to work with it. But because it's inside an insulated box, it reflects the heat back in, and you can actually work with it. It's hard to.
Well, how efficient is that? How big an area? I get a little 5-gallon propane tank. It's going to last me how long?
You could work all day off a 5-gallon propane tank, pretty much.
And what's it take to fill? Was like $20 or something?
Well, it depends. But store down the road, like $9. I got a 30-pounder. The one you're talking about is like a 5-pounder. I got a 30-pound propane tank, which is only about half full, actually. I meant to fill it up on my way up here, but we never did.
How big is this forge? You put it in the trunk of your car or something?
Yes. Oh, totally. It's
what?
It's a Farrier's forge. It probably weighs about 85 pounds, and I got a pipe threading vise that I got it set up on, which works really nice, and the forge is it's a Farrier's forge, so it's designed to be taken in and out of the truck and set up on site. And it works good. It's not like a big heavy
Farrier's forge. What the hell is a Farrier's forge? You mean a horseshoe thing?
Yeah, Farrier. And so
you got to talk, down to these, city folk. I mean,
right.
What the hell are you talking about? A Farrier.
What's a forge?
Yeah,
what's a forge?
Yeah, a forge is...
Yeah, you hadn't even told us what a forge is.
A forge is a device used to heat up steel hot enough so you can manipulate the steel or you can weld the steel together. Basically, forge welding is some of the original welding where you get 2 pieces of steel really hot and you use a flux, which helps remove all of the oxygen and the elements when you pound the steel together. And flux is quite simply borax. You just take borax, pour it all over the 2 pieces of steel, and get them really hot in a forge and pound them together.
All right. African Queen. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn or whatever. It was all back in World War II. They had this, old steamboat that was in Africa that went and sunk a German ship, blah, blah, blah. It was Humphrey Bogart. And it was called The African Queen. And she goes, I never knew, go through some rapids. Remember the scene? She goes, I never knew a physical experience would be so stimulating. So anyway, they hit a rock or something, and it broke the prop. Well, you're in freaking middle of Africa. How in the hell are you fixing this prop? And he goes, well, I guess we could weld it. And I'm like, with what? So they had like a little campfire thing, and he went through and, how they doing with your forge welding. And I go, really? You can do that?
It's the way it was done before electricity.
In Africa! In the middle of the nothing, in the jungle of... I bet you Jay could.
In the zombie apocalypse, we'll be welding.
Jay will be welding. He's going to teach us how to survive the zombie apocalypse. More zombie surviving when we come.
From the first letter of Dr. Idris Barber, I've healed many landlubbers, but could have healed countless more if they were willing to break the law to preserve themselves. The Crown required that I obey leeching privateers who didn't share my oath to do no harm. I was forbidden from discussing the treatments I knew patients needed. The Crown claims to protect landlubbers from bankrupting medical expenses, but only seduces them into begging for relief, while privateers monopolize the management of chronic illness. This royal alliance has constructed a medical hegemony that denies science, discredits alternative remedies, and mandates unwanted treatments, while callously ignoring the victims dying on waiting lists. They have produced a society increasingly addicted, impoverished, diseased, and suicidal. My conscientious objections and medical ambitions required not only seeing this cage, but leaving it. That's why I raised my black banner. Among pirates, the Crown's tantrums are irrelevant. You own your body without qualification. Open ocean medicine enables healers and customers to build a relationship of mutual consent. Prices decrease, quality increases, and physicians become as accessible as barbers. Customers determine their own medical care, whether that's experimental treatments, prohibited plants, controversial procedures, bootleg pharmaceuticals, or even the right to die. Any system of command and control is rejected. In time, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, genetic engineering, and cybernetic prosthetics could take the human condition beyond our imagination. Medical augmentation could eliminate aging, enhance intelligence, and erase our fundamental physical limitations. With the Crown in our wake and the individual at the helm, we are free to pursue an unfettered life. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom. There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Come up when we need to brainstorm on this.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show.
Whatever shit we need
where
to do.
We're going,
We just
there
have to show
aren't
progress and now's the
any
time.
roads.
We got to start thinking about that. Right. Ain't being asked that. Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Bangor, Maine. We're sitting here eating breakfast. We got, if I'm going to eat anything breakfast, it's going to be croissants. Croissant something. Dunkin' Donuts got a croissant. And there's a, Dunkin' Donut croissant right down the road here. So I'm like, yay, thanks, Derek.
Do they have Dunkin' Donuts in Phoenix area yet?
Yeah. They got Dunkin' Donuts. It's just not freaking worship like it is up here in the Northeast. I went to Boston one time. Mark Victor's from there. We came for some Patriot game thing and so on. We're up here. Dunkin' Donuts is like its own religion.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what the heck? Why is that?
I think it's cold. Dunkin' Donuts is somewhere. It's cold outside, and you can go in there 24. Well, they used to always be 24 hours. And you can go in there and get a warm cup of coffee and warm up.
Okay, so that's why they provided a service.
Yep.
I tell you what I did see. we had a Circle K's here. We've been working really hard, so there's not really time to eat or anything like that. So on the way home, maybe we'll get something on the way at 10:30 at night or something like that. And they have Circle K's here now, which is a big thing in the Southwest. They started in Phoenix, I think. And so you go, I know what I want. They got this big burrito, kind of, put it in the microwave, super duper, get the way, and with red chili and green chili ones. You got, I go, I'm gonna hook you guys up. I know what to get. I go in there. They go, what? We don't have what? What are you talking about? I go, isn't this Circle K? God, don't you guys have? What do you eat? You like McDonald's, man? You got the same stuff on? Yeah, you don't, you slackers. So
that is one thing I noticed about Colorado and like the Southwest versus New England is everywhere you can buy burritos in Colorado. Here, there, not too many places serve burritos, but everywhere in Colorado serves burritos.
Right.
Breakfast burritos are huge out there.
Southwest thing, man. That's burrito. They're yummy. So what we want to do today, we'll do the show. Yesterday, Derek is going 3 hours. Oh, my God. We're going to do 3 hours. Boom, it's done. I go, yeah, it goes by fast, don't it? But as soon as we get done, we're going to be out there. You got a plan? There's some stuff you want to make sure we get done.
Jeez,
man, we got to do a contest for naming this place.
You've got the plans, man. You came up here. You knew what to do. You've just been doing it. I mean, it's been amazing. I think Donna's putting some pictures up on the show archive.
Oh, is she?
The stuff we've been doing.
You've been taking a bunch of pictures?
Been taking pictures every day, yep.
I've been not noticing. I'm head down plow. Your brother Matt has been a big help. He's a young guy. He's 24. Got some energy and stuff. Yeah. And I go, yeah, you go, man. I'm slow and steady. But we got a lot done. You've been here before, Jay.
Yeah. You guys definitely got some progress done. This place is really cleaned up. It's looking good. I think I came up here, a couple weeks after you bought the place or something?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That must have been a thing then.
Maybe 3 months ago. Maybe. Yeah. I guess it was before Christmas.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But what did you think when you saw it? You're going, oh, my God.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. Had great potential, and workshop area. I mean, I need to build myself a big workshop that I can, pull a semi-truck into and close the doors and work on it.
Make the dome bigger, whenever you're ready. There's what would you call? I mean, what is this place? It's
I've been calling it the warehouse because a warehouse is what I was looking for. Just an abandoned warehouse. I mean, this is the surplus. This place was surplus. You were saying last night it cost $1 million to build this place.
Oh God, for permits.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it was something that was just discarded.
No, this is millions. I cannot. You look at the beams. What's the square footage on this? 15,000 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's ridiculous.
And you got the offices upstairs, which is pretty nice, and yeah, it's nice.
I look at shows about places like Detroit where everything's crumbling. I'm like, oh my God, that's a beautiful building. That's a beautiful building. What are they doing with it? But don't let that decay.
Yeah, but then you're in Detroit.
Thank you, socialism.
Right.
And and they did this. This is what happened. I was paying attention to that because a good friend of ours, she's. Her and her husband been big-time supporters for a long time, for 30 years. And they are wealthy. They live in Fountain Hills. They got, business. They got it going on. But she's from Detroit. So she's just sick about what's happened to Detroit. She remembers back in the day, she's 60-whatever years old. She remembers, back in the day when it used to be Motor City, that was the beacon of industrialization and capitalism in America was Detroit. It was the crap. Well, everybody had a job. They're all making cars, and then it just went to crap. Well, it's because, the collectivists just fed on the carcass of everybody's everything, and then, the pensions, it just went broke. Well, in the urban areas where, poor communities and so on, they finally decided, it's just too expensive for us to keep the streetlights on. Our emergency services, you guys are a bunch of hoods and whatever. We're just not going to, don't bother calling us. We're not sending the fire department or the police. And they literally just rolled up the sidewalks. They just, the city wouldn't have anything to do with certain areas. And I remember in Flint, Michigan, when opening pizza restaurants and so on for Domino's, they had $3,500 a month that they paid for a security officer to go with the drivers of some places because they were getting beat up and, stolen and robbed and their pizzas taken and hurt and all that kind of stuff. So they just redlined them. They just go, we don't go to this project anymore. We don't go there. And they go, nope, you're not allowed to not serve them. They call you, you have to go and get your ass beat, okay? And like, what? So they hired security. So you had like a $3,500 or whatever a month just on top of everything you had to do just to be able to serve. I'm like, oh, hell no. Now it's okay for the government to say they don't want to serve them anymore. Yeah. But pizza delivery, you got to do that. I mean, it's just so hypocritical. So what happened was during this time, and that's why I always said, where do you got to go to be free? You need where government goes away. Like all of a sudden, I don't know, Havana, Moscow, Detroit. I mean, that kind of thing. Well, Detroit, the government went away. Then they started redeveloping, doing what you're doing. They just start, squatting different buildings. They'd fix them up.
Great
no permits.
About a guy putting in a farm on it's like a couple square miles in Detroit. He just bought all the houses, $200 a piece from the city. Tore them. It was a big thing because all the local people didn't want some outsider coming in and making a farm.
They brought in goats. It was just overgrown with everything, so they brought in a herd of goats, and the goats would go on the hill. They just eat everything.
Oh yeah, goats are good like that. I love goats.
Yeah. The show I watched was a few years old, so I don't know where it's gone. We just watched it a couple weeks ago, and it's redeveloped, but he's tearing the stuff down. And the sad thing to me is the way they built stuff in the early 1900s. They built it to last, and now that they've got all these old buildings, they're letting them fall apart. The water's running through them because the roofs are gone. And then they're tearing those down and they're putting up these disposable buildings.
And all Derek's looking at, I want all that wood.
Well, if you
can't throw away anything here.
It's the building, So this is a wooden building, It's as long as it doesn't rot, as long as you can keep it dry, it's good forever. These steel buildings, they've got a lifetime.
Well, what they did, Detroit City, once they started revitalizing and getting, they thought they're acting like they're doing them a favor, and they came in. And they go, we got a new ribbon cutting. You're back on the grid. You guys made something without us? Well, gosh darn it, we need to tax you some more. Need some permits, don't you? And always, so you just sat there and watched it happen again.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
Well, folks, look who came crawling back to Pennington.
That's right, Jeff Statsky. Just 4 years after leaving town to make it as a songwriter and musician on the East Coast, Mr. Hot himself, Jeff Statsky, has returned. Locals are simply stunned that Mr. Ambition himself would deign to move back to Pennington, the town he once said, quote, wasn't big enough for his music. Tuffy's Bar is even planning a welcome home party for the would-be Bob Dylan.
We got a nice cushioned stool for his precious little East Coast ass.
Hey, Jeffy boy, we got the radio on. We're still waiting to hear that big song of yours. Where is it?
Local business owners say Statsky might have just as hard a time finding work here in Pennington as he did when he was trying to be a dainty little songsmith in Coolsville.
Oh, sure, I could set him up with a job, no sweat. Oh, wait, come to think of it, we don't have any openings right now for tambourine-shaking pansies who got dick slapped by the big city.
This is the Onion News Network.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Hey, Ben.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Welcome back to Bangor, Maine, where it's nice and toasty, almost above freezing. This is, when I go back to Phoenix, it's going to probably be in the 70s.
Nice.
It's like I've already had to mow my grass at least once or twice. It's sucks to be you, man.
I don't mind it. I like the snow. The worst thing I feel we have to deal with up here, well, in New Hampshire anyways, is mud season. So what I've been doing actually the last 4 or 5 days is warming up. My driveway at my place has got it's like silty, a lot of mud on it. I've been taking my tractor, my backhoe, and just scraping, the couple inches of defrosted mud and muck and just putting it in a pile. And when I probably Monday, I'm going to order a load of 3/4 inch crushed stone and just have it brought over and start just taking where, I scrape all the muck off, because what happens, over years, the leaves fall and they rot a little bit, and also from cutting and splitting firewood, the sawdust all breaks down. Making mud, yeah. Moving, and I move a lot of hay around, so I've always had to deal with the mud issue and just scrape it up every spring and add a little bit of gravel, and then, come September, I'll put some hardpack on top of the gravel so I don't plow the gravel up. And
wow, hardpack.
Hardpack, yes.
Hardpack. If I knew what hardpack was.
So hardpack is the best. Hardpack is the stuff that's it's old demolition like brick buildings, sidewalks, and then gravel, and then millings, which is when they grind up the asphalt in the road, and they take all that and they mix it all together and they put a little bit of clay in it, and what's really good is if it's got a lot of asphalt in it, old asphalt millings, it's almost like pavement on a road, and you dump it. You spread it out and just get a roller or just a heavy truck and just drive back and forth over it on a hot summer day. And that stuff, it makes a nice driveway.
See, anybody that's really good at this kind of stuff, they always use the same word.
Just.
You just roll. You just. You guys kill me, man. I'm like, hey, everybody, you just. I wanted to, what I'm going to call?
Well, how would he phrase that, Ernie?
This is what I want to do. I need a grandma just button. Okay, this is what I need. When you finally get the first, Boston Dynamic, domestic outside He-Man, kick-ass robot, I'm going to call him Just. That's going to be the name of the robot, Just. Hey, just do it. Yeah. It'd be like a Nike thing. You have a Nike swish on them. Just do it. Just do this, just do that. That'd be awesome. I'm going to call him Just. Copyright, trademark, Ernie Hancock of copy left. I don't care.
Robot Just.
Just Robot. Yeah, Just Robot. Just Robot. Yeah, you know that's going to get ripped off. I thought it first.
Should I be registering this now?
Yeah, you better get on it. This domain. Every time I do that, I go and look. If I wait till the break and go look, I got to go get the domain,
right,
then talk about it. Because every time I do that before the break, it's going to freaking be Just Robot is going to be already taken.
A couple weeks ago, Ernie says, I'm going to go buy some Monero, and he's trying to buy it, and the price is going up. It's like, you got to buy it before you say.
Right.
Well, that would be insider trading, wouldn't it? You bought it before you said you're going to buy it.
I did that, full disclosure. I had, Horizon on. It was, Zencash at the time or something. Every time I'm going, God, man, when I have these guys on it, I go, I'm going to buy it now, and you guys can just suck it, okay? So I'm tired of everybody else getting it. Do Just Robot. JustRobot.com.
Well, this is the thing with Man Camp is, we get these 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kids start forging and welding, and then they'll be like, yeah, I need to make a hinge. I'm just going to go out to the shop. I'm going to fire up the forge.
I got to tell you, here it is.
Make
it's JustARobot.com. They got that. They don't got Just Robot. All right.
So,
I'm sorry. So you're
we
forging what?
We want to build a generation of these, independent, confident thinkers that are just going to go outside and do it. They need something stupid. They want to, or something, just anything. It shouldn't, not even stupid. Say they want to build like a lock hasp for a gate. You just go out and they're going to grab some steel out of the scrap pile that they threw there a couple days earlier.
I'd really want to, build a lock hasp if I knew what that was.
Well,
a gate latch.
A gate latch, lock hasp. Yeah, so a gate latch is basically, it's just like when you slam the gate, it's the thing that shuts the gate, and they were all built by hand 150 years ago. Every 12-year-old kid built gate hinges 150 years ago in this country that wasn't living in the city. They just did it because they watched Dad and Grandpa do it.
What was the fuel that they used back then? Was
coal.
It just wood?
Coal.
Did they make? So they had to get coal.
So you had to get coal, but also what is
in
actually...
Northeast, you can get coal a lot more than you can in freaking Arizona.
You know what else is actually you can forge with? My father-in-law was telling me this, well, in the Northeast here also, but green poplar trees, which is a tree that grows around here, is basically, I call it a New Hampshire weed. They grow everywhere. I'm sure they're all over the place here also, and Maine. And that green poplar trees, they burn really hot. They'll actually like melt and warp stoves, from what I understand. And corn, dried kernel corn has roughly the same BTU as coal. And you don't even need something.
You mean the actual corn kernels, not the cob?
Yeah, the actual corn kernels.
Because of the sugar or something?
Because of the alcohol, the sugar alcohols in it. There's this guy upstate New York I used to buy a lot of hay from, and he had started growing this high-density corn that was it was such heavy corn that it was like 61 pounds per bushel. Regular corn is about 54 pounds per bushel. And a bushel is basically like a round, small laundry basket would be a bushel, so people understand what a bushel is, because nobody knows what a bushel is anymore. Bushel of apples, bushel of green beans or peas.
And you're not going to tell us, are you?
It's like a little like a little round laundry basket. So it'd be about the capacity of maybe 4 or 5 gallon buckets. Would that be the capacity?
Yeah, but how do they measure a bushel? I mean, I know it's a bushel of apples.
It's how much fits in the big basket, I think. Right?
Yeah, it's how much. It's basically.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm a merchant, I'm wanting to make sure that I'm buying or selling. I got the right size of a freaking bushel.
Good-looking bushels,
Yeah, the bushel that's overfulling. You can't put another green bean in there. You can't put another, a potato in there. A bushel of potatoes is pretty darn heavy. That's why they just limited.
Well, so I'm thinking like a 5. We have a standard now. It's called the 5-gallon bucket.
Right.
So it's like two 5-gallon buckets.
Standard. The level on those 5-gallon buckets seems to vary quite a bit to me.
Now, some they got the taller ones.
Well, some of these things you go buy, like sheetrock mud, is not in a 5-gallon bucket. That's a 40-pound bucket. That's why it's shorter. But you can also get the 60-pound bucket of sheetrock mud, which is actually a little taller than a 5-gallon bucket. Yeah, I've bought a lot of sheetrock mud.
But that's by weight, not by weight.
Yeah, so the people get confused. But yeah, so I would say
this is why we need to go metric. You know, that's one thing. Metric is so I can go on and on about metric and imperial. Freaking, are you kidding me?
We should talk about that. I've got some. Me and Ben both have some opinions on that. Ben's in
metric.
Yeah, it's so divisible. The English system is so divisible.
The one thing
divisible by what?
Quarter, 8, 16ths, 30 seconds. I mean.
That's called 0.25, 0.5. What are you talking about?
Yeah, not really.
I can tell you. I can tell you what I like about the SAE English system. It's the fact that you have to do a lot of mental calculations and requires a lot of brain energy and input.
Wow, that's the reason I don't like it.
Well, that is the reason I do like it, because it is when you start teaching kids fractions, and I do this a lot with the kids all the time. Is I teach them, one of the first things I've taught all my nephews and stuff that would help me out working on thing is, just Matthew was one of my nephews, and when he was about 3 years old, his mom had him at the barn all the time. He's just turned 8, and when he was 3 years old, he could tell you, he knew all the sizes, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16. He could, all the wrench sizes and socket sizes. I would send the kid to go get tools all the time while I was under the truck. And he's a really sharp kid, but the whole fractional system, yes, it is a lot more confusing, but you really have to think about it. It's not simple, which I think is good brain exercise, and yes, it is a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is a pain in the ass.
I like it.
All right. If we got to do it, I'll go ahead and defend metric when we come back. Now I'll give my spiel, and we'll get into some other stuff, and then I'll see if they can defend themselves. But you'll be surprised how logical it is. We'll be right back. From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will. So pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Freedom is the answer.
What's the question?
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free.
Okay, all right. I got to do my metric thing here. I remember my sophomore year in high school, they had a speech thing or whatever, and I chose there was a big deal in the late 70s about should the U.S. go to metric. The rest of the planet is. I don't know who's not on the metric. Heck, even the imperial system. Is Britain on metric now?
Yeah, Britain is on the metric system. I think we're the only. There's probably a couple other countries, but yeah, we're the only place that uses the English system.
Yeah, somebody explain. All right, well, this is the deal. A centimeter cube, is 1 gram of water. To heat a gram of water 1 degree Celsius, which is metric, is 1 calorie. So when you're looking calories, they're really talking kilocalories. It's 1,000 calorie, multiply times, I think.
Which is a heck of a lot easier to figure out than heating 1 pound of water 1 degree is a British thermal unit.
A BTU.
BTU.
And I'm going, yeah, whatever. So I'm glad. Let me make this, so you understand. We'll pick nature. We'll do something. And I think a meter is 10,000 meters is the distance from the equator to the pole or something like that. I think that's, where they came up with a meter or something about a yard. Well, so then you go, a centimeter is a hundredth of a meter. You have a millimeter is 1,000th of a meter. A millimeter is 10 millimeters make 1 centimeter.
Right.
Yeah, you have 10 centimeters make 1 decimeter. 10 decimeters make 1 meter. But
we have
I'm not done. You get the critique. Let me go through the spiel here. So then you have a 1 centimeter square of volume water is also the same centimeter that makes up the distance of a meter. Now where this comes in, that's why you have 16 ounces to a pound and then you got a quart or a pint. A pint.
2 pints in a quart, 4 quarts in that is all weird.
Okay, well the thing is that a liquid measurement and a volume measurement are 2 different things. And that's one thing I'm going, what? A liter of water weighs 1 kilogram. So you have a volume, which is 1 liter, which is I think it's a decimeter square. It's a cube, okay? So if you do, 10, you got a cube. So you have a measurement in length equals a measurement in volume, which is also a measurement in weight, which is the same freaking thing. And imperial, it's not.
With water. It's really practical. If I wanted to make a measuring container, I'm not going to make a meter cube, and use that. It's just like knowing that how many meters it is from the equator to the North Pole doesn't help me figure out what a meter is when, boots on the ground, I'm cutting a board.
Well, I'm not using the king's foot either. So, I mean,
right.
But
all of that is interesting to know where they derive the base from, but it's not something you can really use,
Yeah, no. I mean, it's just, they kind of figured out. I mean, of course, they're using, to keep it precise, it's some, laser, freaking bandwidth of who gives a crap. They got some golden rod in France of I don't care. It's just that it's relatable. You have a liter volume and a liter measurement is the same because they use water at whatever degrees or something. Then you have, so it's all relatable. It's just, once I study, I'm going, wow, this is logical as hell. And because I did 16 fluid ounces as opposed to 16 weight ounces, what's the difference? I have no idea. There's no relation to it. But in the metric system, there is. And they use a base, what is the most common? Water. They just go, we'll just use water. What the hell? That's probably where it started. A gram, you want to know how much does a gram weigh? 1 cubic centimeter of water. 1 cc, 1 gram, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's correct.
So then I'm going, so this is all I'm going, oh, at least they had some logic. What the F is the freaking logic behind the imperial system? There's none, okay? So it's just because somebody did it. Why 9/16 of an inch? Why 9? Why not 10?
And I guess you could do that with metric, too. You could do 9/16 of a centimeter just as easily.
Why?
Well, because
you got 4, 6. You get wrenches, I got, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. I guess my thing was, my problem with it was more that I like the base 12 that we use for measurements. For linear measurements, because it's divisible. The centimeters and how many I needed.
So 12
a third of this board, and how many centimeters that's 33 and 33.3.
See, that's the carpenter in you.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Yeah.
Well,
I convert everything to me. Okay, when we do the domes, because it says there's math in there when you go to the Desert Dome calculator. It's just you calculate whatever. Now, of course, I'm using 10-foot conduit pipes, so I gotta I want to get the maximum use out of that, but I convert everything into metric because it's easier for the measurements. You get more precise, you can divide a lot better, you it's just easier.
It's probably easier to write a computer program and calculate metric also, I would imagine.
Yeah. How do you do that?
You want to tell them what's wrong with the metric system, Ben?
Ben, get your ass over here. Come tell me all about it.
I think a lot of holding on and the love for the SAE system, the standard or English, is...
Why does SAE stand for?
I don't even know. But brand loyalty. It's like the guy whose dad drove a Chevy and always had Chevys, just loves Chevys. And some of these guys, they'll never drive a Ford or a Dodge. They'll only drive that Chevy. And I believe that's a lot behind it. And also... a lot of like the big, especially in the 19th century, to get, General Motors and Ford and Chrysler and the military and all these contractors and all this stuff to retool to metric would be huge.
Well, they are.
Huge. Well, they are now because they're importing everything.
It has been for decades. They've just kind of eventually, we're going to have to wait until, I don't know when, but it's going to eventually be metric.
And when it comes to the nuts and bolts, which is what I really care about, metric thread I like so much better than
that's
standard
not a
thread.
Measurement. That's a style.
It is a style, which is correct. But yeah, and I believe that from what I understand about the English system, the SAE system, that was basically what came along first. And if we want to compare it to computers, maybe MS-DOS was like one of the early operating systems, and nobody uses that anymore. There's better options, and maybe metric is you can compare it to that. But
Okay, we got a couple of minutes before the end of the hour. All right, Ben, do it, man.
The metric system. I think Jay's right. Metric system has a lot of advantage for just the beauty of it. The repeating pattern. It reduces your mental overhead when we're using it. But the biggest disadvantage of the metric system is that when they standardize on base 10. Base 10, we could have gotten the same patterns with a different base. Base 12 has advantages. Base 16 has advantage. Base 8 Even base 6 has advantages that base 10 doesn't have. And
the only thing base 12 is, I don't know, a yardstick. I mean, what are you talking about?
But that's a good one. Now, what that goes to show is that we're good at dealing at different bases in different areas. We could be still using a metric type of system with those sort of patterns, but with different bases. In computers, a base 2 or for convenience, a base 16 is a very useful system. But when you're dealing with, in fact, even if you're measuring something, every single time, if you're dealing with like a base 2 or a base 16, or like you look at the inches in how we graduate inches, where we've got 16th of an inch or 8th of an inch or a quarter of an inch, every single time we add a digit there, we're doubling our precision. And that's really handy. That's a really useful. Simple way to be dealing things. Whereas in the decimal system, we don't get that sort of. We kind of do, but it's a little bit clunkier with base 10 because it's not something that.
It's divisibility, right?
Okay, so yeah, the big advantage of base 12 is that you can divide it by commonly used fractions like thirds and halves without.
Oh wow! You hear that, all America's children? Commonly used fractions. That's the benefit. They're going, no, not fractions.
That's one benefit, but it's a big one.
Well, see, my thing is that everything is either millimeters, centimeters, decimeters, or meters, and I know exactly how each one the difference of. And they go, yeah, and I like Jay. Yeah, I need like 5/16. I go, look at this bolt. What is that? That's about a 5/16. I'm going,
8 millimeters, the same thing.
Whatever. Right. I mean, a 12 and a 9/16, I think about almost work.
No, 14.2 is 9/16. I go through this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Teach this to the kids all the time.
Next hour, just a little bit.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain, I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock continues after the news, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,307. Silver opened at $15.46. And Bitcoin is trading around $3,851. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a recent report from the New York Times shows that the National Security Agency has quietly shut down a controversial phone record surveillance program revealed by whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013. The claim was made by a senior Republican congressional aide who told the newspaper that the Trump administration had stopped using the program, which analyzes the domestic call and text logs of American citizens due to technical problems. Minpress News reports that Snowden on Twitter hailed the news as a victory, while Intercept journalist Glenn Greenwald, who broke the Snowden story to international acclaim, took the story at face value. Neither of them raised the obvious question. Is the shutdown of the program merely a smokescreen to continue spying on American phones under new or different secretive programs? Further doubt has been cast on the New York Times report, as the NSA refused to confirm or deny the story. But during a recent major security conference, the agency did claim that they are still in a deliberative process about whether to use a revamped version of the vast database of American phone records. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Your news now continues. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry has announced the filing of a petition supplement naming persons who may have information related to the use of explosives at the World Trade Center. The Free Thought Project reports that Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth says the 33-page document contains 15 different categories of persons who may have information material to the investigation, including contractors and security companies that had access to the World Trade Center towers before 9/11. Persons and entities who benefited financially from the demolitions, and persons arrested after being observed celebrating the World Trade Center attacks. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry successfully submitted a petition to the federal government demanding that the U.S. Attorney present to a special grand jury extensive evidence of yet-to-be-prosecuted federal crimes relating to the destruction of 3 World Trade Center towers on 9/11-2001. After waiting months for the reply, the U.S. Attorney responded in a letter, noting that they will comply with the law. Venezuelan authorities continue working to bring back online the electric grid following a massive outage that began Thursday, March 7th. According to the anti-media, on-ground testimonies and official sources say that power finally began to reach Venezuela's western states on Monday night. Electricity has now been restored, at least in some areas of every state. President Nicolas Maduro gave a televised address Tuesday evening, offering more details about the alleged attack against the country's electrical infrastructure. According to Maduro, both the computerized system in the Curry Dam on Thursday afternoon and the central electrical brain in Caracas on Saturday morning suffered cyber attacks, while recovery was delayed by physical attacks against transmission lines and electrical substations. Maduro claimed that the attacks were directed from Chicago and Houston, and that more evidence will be presented soon. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
According to attendees of a karaoke night at Charlie's Bar and Grill, a man 30 seconds into singing Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror better get his act together and get it together fast.
He up from the get-go. Coming in late on that first line, singing totally off-key. He needs to shape up and get his head in the game pronto.
Honestly, he needs to get serious right now or get the f*** off the stage. I mean, what does he think this is? Living on a prayer?
Claiming that this is turning into a train wreck, eyewitnesses say they are embarrassed for the man who has missed several key words despite staring at the prompter the entire time.
You know, he could hit every last note for the remainder of the song, and I still don't know if that would be enough to turn this thing around.
Man in the Mirror is the big leagues, so you better show up with your A-game.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember. I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Don't fear, no fear here, and declare your independence of me, Ernest Hancock, here in Bangor, Maine, as we're on the road and doing some, getting workified and so on. You know, Derek and I have been busting butt working on his, we got to come up with a name. Freedom Factory, he doesn't like that.
I like the factory.
You like the factory?
I don't know if I like it or not. We're not building anything yet. We're just cleaning it up.
Okay.
You called it Walmart yesterday, so.
Well, I just wanted to give the impression of how freaking big this thing is. You know, it's enormous. And then you have, you know what but you don't have enough bathrooms. We need bathroom upstairs. You got to do the bathroom.
Yeah, plans.
You know, you got plans. And then, but we're also working on the site. You know, that's one of the reasons why I came, because it was so overwhelming, so much stuff that Derek had to do. And I know how to do this. I can clean. You know, I can organize. I can, build a little bit of stuff. So we went ahead and came here to do that so he could sit and not worry about and focus on development on Freedom's Phoenix and Pirates. Yeah. And Pirates, I just sent out a special, you look at the top, help render the next Pirates Without Borders 3D animation. What Cameron did is he has a service now that it's like SETI, where people have their CPUs, their computer, going to help them process whatever the heck they're doing. So he's going, you can set this to be donated processing to a project. So he put all the how-to and wherefores on there, how to do it, and you go in, and when you're at night, you're not using your computer, you want to donate it to being used for this processing of videos. People use your computer power to help, because it would take him, when he did the first animation, I think it took him like months.
Wow.
Of rendering.
It's an incredible video.
It's an awesome video, but it took months to render. It's like, oh my God, I can't do that. I mean, just each frame takes, for a long time. But it was a 3D awesomeness. So he goes, if I join this thing and we get an account that people go to, we build up, in this like cloud, a real cloud amongst people's stuff, we build up credit. And then when he wants to go and render a thing, then he's got the credit to be able to do his rendering.
We can just render for other people now and give Cameron credit. Yeah, I'm down. I'll do that all day.
I'm setting mine up. I'm like, oh yeah, it just it just credits his account. So when he goes to render Pirates, it's overnight instead of over month.
What a great barter system. I mean, that's like the Amish barn building system gone digital.
Boom,
right there.
And this thing is cool on so many levels that this is where the internet's going. And this is what we were talking about yesterday. This is, screw the man. And there's so much news. Did you hear what happened with Zero Hedge?
I didn't, but I don't say screw the man. I say be the man.
Be your own man.
Just be the man. Because the thing is, everybody's running away from a man, afraid to be the man. My email is, my name, The Man, J. Noon, The Man. And people are like, oh, well, you said to me one day, what are you, a little conceited? I says, no, I'm the man. I'm being the man. I don't fight the man. I am the man. And everybody needs to be their own man. That's another importance of Man Camp, is teach these little boys and even these girls how to be their own man. Everybody be their own man.
That was one thing, the only pushback I got, from, we were talking about this, and I think it was a bunch of, they were just tongue-in-cheek, the anarchist crowd. They're going, well, can girls go to your man camp? You're not a very good anarchist if you even got to ask that question.
That's right, because man is mankind. Girls are men with a womb. That's where the word woman comes from. And you know what? In my experience, all the women that, the young girls that grew up around me, they didn't need man camp. Women are tougher.
You know what I did? I call it like Donna would do some stuff, and I go, man, you the woo man.
Nice.
You the woo man. So then Erin was here, Derek's sister, and I go, I showed her the text I sent her, you the woo man. And I go, do you find that offensive? And, they don't know. They don't know what they're supposed to think, I think. A lot of people, they're going, maybe I don't know. Let me check CNN to see.
She gave you a very definitive no, though, my sister.
Yeah, no. But you see my point. You got some of you doing that. You're being misogynist, or I go, no, it's a compliment between me and my wife. Get over it.
But if you literally look at the 20-somethings right now, and I've hired so many people to stack hay, to do barn chores, to do all these things, and especially right now, the 20-somethings, it is the men. Just they are wimps, and the thing with women, yeah, absolutely, and the women, at least women have this DNA in them that part of being a woman is the fact that they're going to have to take care of another creature. I mean, a child. They're going to have to bear a baby. It's just like you were talking, like when I think it was you on one of your shows, like in these third world countries, when they give the money to the men, they go buy alcohol and cigarettes and stuff, and it doesn't improve the economy. But when they give the money to the women feed their children. That's what they do with it. To where the men go, hookers, booze, and tobacco and drugs or whatever. Like maybe it wasn't you. I don't know if you remember talking about it. I listen to so many podcasts.
I tell you, the big thing that I focus on is that here recently I was talking to someone, is that the big driver. Okay, it goes back to this. L. Neil Smith is a prominent libertarian science fiction writer and so on, and he goes, the world is based on two things: food and sex. Okay, we do collectively, to get food. We are all everybody's got to get fed. I mean, we're out about this food thing, but individual behavior is about sex.
Well, I know people who engage in collective sexual activities too.
Okay, well, that's that we have exceptions that prove the point, though. But anyway, so you have the when you want to make sure that you procreate. That's an individual drive thing. So what do? You got to the man's got to have a nice nest, or you're not going to attract the female. It's got to be, not too hot, not too cold, not too wet, not too, it's got to be comfortable. It's kind of, I'll go over here. This nest over here is a lot nicer. So I'm not going to, be sticking around with you. Get a better nest. We're looking for comfort of bed more than we are penis size. Okay. Well, maybe. I mean, some people. But the point is that you have a nice, comfortable place.
The standards are much lower today. If you go on Tinder and just start looking, like I told a kid the other day, I'm like, dude, just get a Tinder app and just look and see what women want. There's this kid who does Free Talk Live sometimes. And we were talking about that. And he's a 20-something-year-old man, and he's actually a real man. I have confidence in that. So he's like, I'm like, what women want is, you'll see these things on Tinder, for example, is like, must have a driver's license, must have a job.
The standards are seriously lower.
That is the standards, because there are so many dudes that are literally like, they ride a skateboard. Yeah. They're 35 years old and they have a skateboard.
Skate and I can surf.
Yeah,
I live in my mom's basement.
I eat granola.
Yeah, they're
drink soy milk.
These like my friend does Uber, and anytime it's snowing or raining in Manchester, like Uber is like crazy. It's because hipsters don't want to ride their bicycles, in the snow or the rain, and skateboards don't work too good in the snow. So Uber's very popular when it's snowing out in all these cities. But just look at Tinder, you'll see like I have an adopted, kind of a unofficially adopted daughter who's going to be 22 this summer. or maybe she is 22 now. She's like really having a difficult time like finding a guy. But the problem is she's like tougher than most of the guys. I mean, the kid's been stacking hay since she was 11. She's been training horses. She's been, driving trucks and tractors, and like she's like. And basically her thing is, if a guy doesn't know what a clutch is, she's like, I'm not interested in him. He can't drive a standard. And now she's like, they don't even have cars.
You know what they have? They have, what do they call that? Farm dates or ranch hands or,
FarmersOnly.com.
Yeah, Farmers Only. This kind of, it's like, and that's what the women do. They know what that means. The boys got skills. You might even have a bicep, a tricep. Oh, my God. So this is... Now, I'm with you, man. We got to go to man camp. Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800. 602-264-2800. And now, Ernest Hancock.
Where's my rock and roll, man? I need to do kind of, I got
Alexa.
No, don't even start.
That's what amps you up.
Yesterday, we're talking about Alexa and Alyssa. See, there it goes, okay? The whole time Alexa's listening to us. So we going, we're talking about Alexa. Is it, what? It's like ordered, God knows he's going to have, freaking electric scooters delivered to his house tomorrow or something. you have no idea what's going on. But what we wanted to talk about was, we're talking about man camp. And there's so much stuff going on. And he relayed a story to where, someone that he knew that he really helped with writing lessons and so on and, manned her up and made her independent and so on. I mean, see, being manned up is not a cut. Freaking get over it. So what happened was she's talking about she had a child, she gets divorced, and she goes, I don't need a man, but I want one.
Yep.
Big difference.
Yeah, and this is what I've noticed with a lot of the strong women is, that and they're not like feminist types. They understand family and family structure, and she like her ex,
and man strength is useful to have around when you want a garden dug
or open up a peanut butter jar. But she's really cool. She understands that the dad, her son's father, he's a good guy. He's a good dad. She'll tell you that. They just don't get along anymore. And she is, very much wants her son to have, to be all that, to do all the things with the dad that the dad will possibly do. And she's very, wants that relationship to be strong because, she understands that, her parents were divorced and her dad was, the mother tried to push him out of the picture, in the 90s. And, she understands that, fathers are absolutely, totally necessary for the development, or at least a father figure, just as, mom is absolutely very necessary development of, young boys and young girls. And so she gets this stuff. And all these kids that grew up at the farm, as we were talking about, on the break, like I said, they got dropped off, and then they, and then all of a sudden they were getting left there all the time, so we just put them to work. And it was the best thing that ever happened to them. And when I got married this summer, these girls were telling me that, about their lives and what they've been doing for the past 10 years. And I was just really thrilled to hear about it. And this is what really got the whole thing that I need to teach these kids that are being raised by hipster computer programmers, man skills, whether it's a boy or girl,
Well, we had a family restaurant, and before that, I'm working and doing, and Donna was at home, taking care of the kids and everything, and she had her own stuff that she was doing. But for Donna, it's easier for her to just wash the dishes and the clothes than to sit there and worry about and fight the kids and kind of, and whatever. And I remember one time she's taking a weekend off, go somewhere, and it's me and the kids for the weekend. And I said, load me up. Give me a long list. I'll be done by the time you get here Monday. Do it. You can't make a long enough list. Go. So she gets this big-ass long list. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going, that'll take 10 minutes. That'll be, being the kids are going, your big, giant, long list is going to be done by 9:30 on Saturday morning. I mean, that kind of thing, right? And then she goes, before she finished, she goes, and you can't have the kids do it. I go, BS. That's the first thing I'm doing. They are learning how to do the laundry. They are learning how to fold it. They are learning. So I would put forth all kinds of effort to teach them. So homie don't have to do it no more, and then I supervise. So when we had our restaurant, they always go, well, you don't do nothing. The hell I don't. I'm keeping 10 hands, my 4 kids done all the working. My job is because if I started doing it, I'm turning around, they're standing there watching me do it. And I'm going, no. It's, so of course once they got to where they're busy and they, the time to lean, time to clean, all that kind of stuff. Well, then I'm in there, taking care of business. Well, it's, for me, our kids, that's when I felt that I didn't have to worry anymore. After, they went through high school with our family restaurant. And by the time they got out, it was, What really made the difference is when you look at all their, they went to private school, but we were the poor kids, that kind of thing. But, all their other friends driving their parents' hand-me-down Hummer, and you go, and they are so not going to make it. I go, these guys are not going to make it. This is your competition. Well, they're just thinking, well, they'll just start with their dad's company, they'll do that kind of crap. And I'm going, yeah. So a friend of mine he did this. His son was a little bit older than mine. And he had this one experience, and I thought it was a great thing. He goes, I go to the DMV with them, the Department of Motor Vehicles, when they go and get their first license and all that kind of crap, because everybody's got to go to the DMV. Okay, it's not like you got a slice of society at Walmart, or a slice of society at Macy's, or a slice of society at some country club, or a slice of society at whatever. DMV, it's everybody. Okay, so you go into the DMV and you have all this mandated, I got to be here and sit there and go up to the counter thing, and you get a good average of what society really is. And he goes to his son, he goes, this is your competition. This is what you're competing with. How much smarter are you going? All of a sudden, my kids are like going, I think we're going to be okay. And I never forgot that. It was just, you give them good work ethic, and you get in there, and they're always the prized employees. They're always the alphas. They're always in charge. And it came from a work ethic from the beginning. Without that, and somebody thinking the school system or the TV is going to train them, they're not. And if you don't have these skills and the confidence, and that's one thing that you talk, I saw your presentation at Liberty Forum, Derek put that up, and I watched that, and I go, awesome. That's because talk about the confidence factor you're talking about.
Well, so confidence is a huge thing, and being an anarchist, someone who doesn't want a ruling overlords, I feel that we have to have at least a somewhat of a percentage of the population as self-confidence, because I personally feel that there is two large groups of people who clamor for government, and one of those groups are people who lack confidence and feel that society will fall apart and crash without government. And then the other large group that wants government, which is smaller than the first group I mentioned, are the they, them, and those who want to tell you what to do. They want government too, so they can tell you what to do. These people who want positions of power.
Usually to give them services and stuff.
Right, and it was for cushy benefits or whatever. There's the psychopaths, the guy who's the bully who becomes a code enforcement officer or a cop. I'm sure everybody, who's at least 40 knows who that guy is now. Anyways, so to build confidence, when you take and you give a kid any task. Now, 4 or 5-year-old kids are a real pain in the ass. They just, unless you give them all the vaccines, and they're usually pretty mellow, or you put them on Compliacin, they just, sit there and drool on themselves.
Compliacin.
Compliacin. You ever hear of Freedom's?
Oh, yeah, Compliacin.
Yeah. Freedom's Fiend,
Thank you,
Compliacin.
Mother.
Google Freedom's Fiends Compliacin. It's a really good spoof ad. Anyways, so when I was a little kid, my first job was my father actually made me my own pitchfork for cleaning stalls. If anybody's ever had horses and clean stalls, it's something that you have to do every day, sometimes twice a day. So my first job was cleaning stalls. In fact, so I did that, and I was very proud of these stalls being cleaned. So in man camp, when we put kids to work either stacking wood, firewood, stacking hay, splitting wood, making things in the forge, they gain confidence because they have pride in actually creating and doing things and getting things done and being productive, instead of becoming the default, which is destructive if you leave them to their own means.
Or somebody tell them what to do, or how to tell somebody else to do it for them, or wait for a robot to deliver it or something.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Free Talk Live.
I thought pagans worshiped the earth. I didn't think they'd cast spells.
Well, and they do rituals, and they believe in the spirits and the energies and whatever other crap makes them feel better about themselves afternoon.
Wait. Paganism has something to it. You know, there's sun worship involved in there, and I think the sun, if you're going to pick a god,
there is real energy involved in the sun.
Is a pretty good god. I mean,
real endothermic energy. Yes,
it's reliable. Every day it rises and it sets.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if we don't have it, we'll freeze to death.
Yeah, if you don't have him, you die immediately. Like, life on the planet just begins to shut down without the sun. Sun's a good god, all in all.
Right, but then once you start making requests of the sun, you start going overboard.
Well,
once you say, "Oh, great and powerful sun, help photosynthesis." I mean, unless you are asking for something other than green plants or vitamin D, you need...
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts, together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
And we're back having a good time here, meeting with some locals come by and say, "Yo, what's up?" And they go, wow, well, can I listen to this? And Derek, why, yes, you can. You know,
not too many details.
No.
So I gave her my business card. On the back of my business card, it has my favorite websites, LRN.FM, and then it has a listener call-in line number, and then it says Free Talk Live, and then it says freedomsphoenix.com, and a couple other websites on there, Bitcoin.com, and I'm always pimping out Freedom's Phoenix and LRN.FM, and I pass cards out all the time and get people to listen to it. And the listener call-in line is really great because it doesn't burn data. When you're driving around, you're at work, it's just a phone number. You just call it. Now, the audio is much better on the stream, but you
the listener call, that's one thing that LRN does is that you can have on a lot of caller plans, you get like 5 long-distance numbers or something that you can just listen to. You don't get charged. Or now they just don't charge anything. I don't think they're even
cell phones is no charge.
Yeah, I don't think that's even a problem anymore. But they have a phone number that you can call, and if you need to, you got limited long distance. Well, then you make this one of your long distance top 5 that doesn't charge or something like that on a landline or something. But they have this line. A lot of people like listening on their phone. Because it's easier to just put their headset on and they do that. Or if you got a smartphone, and that's just for even a flip or something. But if you got a smartphone, you can go to LRN.FM or you go to freedomsphoenix.com, and we have live streaming. And we just set it up in the last month to where we're still testing it out and we haven't made a big promo out of it. But we live stream on Facebook, Farcebook, YouTube, and
DLive.
Yeah, DLive and D-this and Live that and freaking, it's like, I don't know, a bunch of them.
And Twitch.
And, yeah, whatever. We set up a whole bunch. Tim Patrol helped us with that. But I got my first thing. I mean, we hadn't even been up in the week or two, and Facebook wanted to explain it to me. Hey, you're not allowed to do something. You use more than 10 seconds of something, And I'm going, yep, well, Farcebook, you getting replaced, man. So this is kind of a test, too. But there's a lot of things that, me, I've been screaming about getting off the man's grid all the time.
Yep.
And that's what yesterday, did you hear yesterday's show?
Just a little bit of it.
Derek is, I don't think Derek appreciates how creative, valuable, and powerful he is in the things that he can do. And he goes, yeah, but I can only do that for so many hours a day. I got to go drive a nail, man. I got to go cut some wood.
Well, he's definitely not a narcissist. Only narcissists really appreciate how creative and powerful they are, right?
We try and swell his head a little bit, But there's a lot of things that we're working on. He's been really. Well, what are some of the stuff that in the last few days while we're pounding out there that you've been doing on Freedom's Phoenix and Pirate?
I'm trying to get the Declare Your Independence site on Freedom's Phoenix going a little better. If you go to the top right of Freedom's Phoenix,
get into the microphone.
The new part of the site, there's Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. You can click there and get all the shows, and it's been there, but it just not formatted well. The shows were way down the page. You had to scroll down. So we're just trying to push that stuff up, just redesign it some so that it's.
Well, we had it to where a lot of the information, like where the apps are and how to do this and the iTunes, blah, 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 move that over to the right so that it's not, you got to, hit the scroll bar 300 times before you actually get to the show. And then when you go into the show page, there's a lot of that stuff too, because there's a lot of pertinent, more information that you need, and more of the static stuff we need to get off of those pages. And so we're reformatting that before I really start pushing. See, this is what happened. Freedom's Phoenix, I started doing radio before Freedom's Phoenix, but they were two totally separate things, really. And I just wasn't I don't like it. It's like you say, hey, don't bring too much attention to stuff we're doing. So I was not really pushing the radio show on Freedom's Phoenix, because then it would have made it an individual Ernest Hancock thing. And I'm like, no, it's not an Ernest Hancock thing. It's a much more a movement thing. Well, then it was Michael W. Dean that was on my ass. He goes, you don't even know that you do a radio show on your website. Yeah. He was on my butt, and I'm going, because I didn't really want to do it. It was a separate thing. I didn't want to tag it like that,
Cross promotion.
I know. It's probably my fault.
The more people listening, the better. I mean, you want to get the word out there. They find the site, find the show.
Yeah, I was doing. Well, this is what was going on. The reason we did Freedom's Phoenix was when I was in radio, I knew how it worked. There would be they called them rip and read. You would have the 3x5 card fax printout of everything the RNC says that Rush Limbaugh is supposed to say. Okay, and the newspapers did the same thing. Whatever's on the front page of the New York Times better be on the front page of your Orange County Register, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, or Arizona Reply. I mean, whatever it is, that would be the newspaper of record. And then if they had some local thing, well, then you were allowed to do some local thing. Vince Suprenowitz explained this to us. He's going, look, let me tell you how it works. This is how publishing works. Then you had, as I'm in the radio station and I'm doing my show at various radio stations in Phoenix, I would see the news guy would come in, and they would go and they just rip it off of the telex or the fax machine or the wherever the hell they were getting their news, and they'd amp it up and they go, big story news, and they picked from 1 of 5 or whatever, and then whatever the talking points for that day was, that's what we called, Charles Goyette would call it Howdy Neighbor Radio. That was just Howdy Neighbor Radio. Oh, howdy neighbor, let me tell you what's going on today that they're telling me that I'm supposed to tell you, And I'm going, what kind of crap is that? So when we did Freedom's Phoenix, we had display ads in Talker Magazine, which are these big format magazines that you see on all the coffee tables at the radio stations and so on, and all the guys read, and they're kind of dressed as station managers, put Rush Limbaugh on, and Free Talk Live. They'll have ads in there and so on. Well, I put in there, and the editor of that was a closet libertarian that was best friends of a good friend of mine in Arizona. And he was like, shh, be very, very quiet. So I go to him and I said, look, I'll play for a quarter-page ad, and he always put me in the cover story, okay? Yeah. So I got good placement of it. So we did that for, a year or more, and it was Top Producer's Tool. Know at least, because you got the producers, that's when I go, Top Producer's Tool. Know at least as much as your audience. And that was the point. Freedom's Phoenix was there to counter all this rip and read crap that was coming out of Washington and some agencies and these, RNC, DNC bullshit. Oh, I say that out loud. So I'm going, all this crap, I'm going, there needs to be something that has another perspective, that has this freedom perspective. Well, that's why the Dispatch is scheduled to go out at 1 a.m. so that it hit the East Coast radio stations before they started doing show prep at 5. That was the reason for that. So in the early years, we started that in 05, 6. We were just hammering it. All of a sudden, these stories started to hit in the airwaves. Then you started getting, now there's a guy named Jay Lawrence that was a talk show host in Phoenix that's a state legislator now. When his feed went out or something was wrong with Freedom's Phoenix, he was jonesing. He had anything to talk about. He was like, hey, man, what the hell, man? You better get on it. So we knew we were having an impact on that. Our traffic went way up. We were starting to, I guess it would be spamming. We would add all of the producers around the country. And when we were going into the Levolution in 07, that was the first thing we did. We really amped up adding all the emails of the producers to the email dispatch. So what happens? It's all that cool stuff. They're going, hell, man, their job, Top Producer's Tool. Know at least as much as your audience. Because the people that were calling in, they knew more about some subject they wanted to tell this guy, and it made the host look like an idiot. So I'm going, don't be an idiot, So that's why I didn't put, Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock on the front page of Freedom's Phoenix early on, because then it wouldn't have been used as much by all these guys. No one got the traffic.
Competitive show.
It would have been competitive,
And more people all the time are going to freedomsphoenix.com for their news. There's a little private Freedom Club I go hang out at once in a while, and we all start talking about things, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I read this on Freedom's Phoenix, last night, and they're like, oh, yeah, I like that, too, and all of a sudden, like, everybody, half people there are into it. And then the other one's like, oh, what's this called?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, give them my business card. I'm like, right there, freedomsphoenix.com. Check it out.
I go to a discussion group. Matter of fact, I'm speaking at it the 20th, which is Donna's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Donna. We'll try and, pair that up somehow, dress up or something. I got to not get in trouble. From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
About Ben doing it.
And we're back. I'm sorry. What was it you said there?
I think Ben's going to do going to talk about his open controller project the next hour. Is that after?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, we'll do that. That's one thing we were talking about yesterday a little bit. You were showing me these controllers and what they do, and again, blah 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 blah. Bottom line is that I want this step motor to turn this much, this often, under these conditions for how long at this speed, and all right, we'll go. And you can make it do it. It's just do it.
I need to do this. I got some windows in my house that are 19 foot from the floor. They're up in the cupola in my big dome house, and I want to push a button to open them and close them.
Freaking man.
I thought
that's exactly the kind of crap.
I thought Jay might be kind of fascinated by what Ben was working on, too.
Up to the microphone.
Yeah, here I am.
It's hard when you got to lean over that mic like that.
Yeah, you just put a rubber band around his neck with it or something.
Hey, one thing I'd like to bring up, I had mentioned, is Congresswoman Annie Custer, who is pro-mandatory vaccines.
Okay, this doesn't mean anything to me. She's from what state? Who is she? How old is she? Where'd she come from?
I don't know how old she is, but she's a New Hampshire Congresswoman, from what I understand, and she's doing some talk in Concord on the 22nd of March, Concord, New Hampshire, and she is a former... Well, I don't know if you can ever be a former lobbyist. I guess once you're a lobbyist, you're always a lobbyist. But she's a big pharma lobbyist, and she's pushing for mandatory vaccines. So we're organizing a protest against her in Concord, New Hampshire on March 22nd at noontime. if anybody is in the area and wants to come.
You know, one thing I mentioned this on the show, and I want to make sure people know this. There's so many things that just piss me off as we're doing this vaccine thing. I mean, whether they're good, bad, whatever, that's not even the point. The point was to me is that their pharma came into a thing called Women in Government, WIG. It's called WIG. So they go to the women, and they came in and they said it's $1 million to any legislator that gets passed some, either you eliminate some exemptions or you increase some mandation. If it makes more money for the pharma industry, you get $1 million, okay? So that was it's $1 million grant, to your account of whatever the hell it is they call it. It's a bribe. So it's it's campaign contribution or whatever. So $1 million, however they structured this thing. And so I just knew this legislative session we were going to get inundated with this crap. WIG, Women in Government, Big Pharma, WIG. You can look it up and it'll pop up all over the place. The other thing is I found out that doctors, the reason they are so adamant about you stay on schedule, and the schedule keeps increasing. I mean, they just turn you into your kid's brain in the putty, know. And I got to recommend the movie Vaxxed is good, and that's it got a lot of attention. But it's called Trace Amounts. If you watch that documentary, Trace Amounts, about a guy in his late 20s that got a tetanus shot when he followed all this, what was happening to him and why, and blah blah blah. It's called Trace Amounts. Just watch that. Scare the crap out of you. It's a lot of data, and this is stipulated facts. They go, well, that science has been settled, and they go, no, it wasn't. What happened is the CDC scientists, they actually did a trash can shredding burning of data. They knew that this was happening. They freaking knew. They still know. So Big Pharma, but they got all the liability taken away. They got all the, anything that, against them, maybe, nope, we can do whatever the hell we want. So I'm going, what the heck what is the purpose of government? Protection of individual rights. No, we're going to make you take poison. And I'm going, hell, I don't care if it's good for you. Because I know the government wants me to take fluoride because they love my teeth. And, the government's teeth lovers, man. They love your teeth. I'm like, God, what a bunch of crap. There's forced medication. And to what benefit? It doesn't even matter.
Pharmaceutical customer for life. That's the benefit. The benefit for the industry, the pharmaceutical industry.
They cause permanent harm, and they got you for life.
If each family, there was at least one autistic child in each family, and then at least one junkie in each family.
There will be.
Right? I believe this. So what happens if you have an autistic kid or a kid that's hooked on heroin or someone you love that's autistic and you got to constantly worry about them, constantly take care of them? Well, guess what you're not doing?
You're not being an activist.
That's right. You're not paying attention to the politicians, and the politicians love distraction. And one of the
benefits everybody.
And these weapons of mass distraction is when you have autistic kids and drug addict families, and then because what's happening is the bread and circus hasn't been the distraction they've wanted. There's still people paying attention. They're not focused on the sports ball and all that stuff.
See, this is what I had. I go, it's not going to work. And Derek makes this point. He goes, humanity kind of, they in school, everybody's gay and bi and whatever, and preteen, they don't know what the hell they are. They don't go, I like this girl, she's my girlfriend, and so I guess I can't have a boyfriend. I mean, they don't know what the hell's going on. So what happens is you have all of this distraction and what they want you to believe and why and how and all. But this is the one thing that I wanted to get up before I forget. There was and the point Derek was making is that humanity has a set thing. I mean, you're going to want to procreate, you're going to want to this, you're going to want to be left alone, you're going to be, well, they got to beat that out of you or cycle it, but they only do it so much until they change you. They have to change you. They have to change your chemistry. You have to change, in the womb. They have to give your mom while they're pregnant with you a vaccine, or they got to something. They got to change humanity to turn us into the automatons that they want because it's just not working out for them.
Chemically neutering the boys.
Right.
The vaccines, all the stuff.
This is the one other thing that really pissed me off is that, and I called my daughters and daughters-in-law, and I was really sympathetic to that. I go, look, man, I had no idea you guys were under this pressure. They go, Dad, you have no idea how bad it is to go in for a well baby visit. I go, what the hell is a well? I never heard of a well baby visit. What the hell is that? It's another opportunity for them. It's like going to a car mechanic. He's going to find something wrong, okay? And that's what they're doing. And they want to give you another vaccine. They want to boost this, do that, whatever.
And ask you a bunch of questions.
Yeah. Any guns in the house?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So this stuff happens, but this is what the thing that really pissed me off. There is an incentive. It's a bonus program for pediatricians if a certain percentage, which is a high percentage, 90-something, 100%, whatever, you get all kinds of, all of a sudden you're talking about getting a new boat. If all your patients are vaccinated and up to date and on the full schedule of, and if you get your patients up to a certain percentage, boom, you get all these bonuses. So that's why them, and there's cash incentives to the nurses, they just beat the living crap out of you, not for health reasons. It's for them to make money.
I dated a girl in Colorado for a little bit, and she had walked away from basically a doctorate. She's got $250,000 in student debt now, did all the college, basically a couple credits from becoming a doctor. And what disgusted her was the fact that, and this was in 2010, I believe she told me, that one of the things was if 64% of your patients meet 100% of the vaccine protocol, I don't know if it was an insurance company or somehow, but I think she said an insurance company was going to give you like an $80,000 yearly, basically, check.
Yeah.
To make sure they're vaccinated.
A boat.
Yeah. Oh, that's a hell of
a nice boat.
That's a nice yacht payment, $80,000 a year, and so like she was just disgusted. She's like, I don't want to be a drug dealer. I don't want to be a pharmaceutical pusher. Last night while driving through the blizzard, I was listening to Coast AM. And there was a guy on, I forget his name, but he was talking about Del Bigtree and Dr. Judy Mikovits. And a caller called in and said, has there been a study where they studied unvaccinated kids versus vaccinated kids and autism? And a guy goes, yes, there has been. Well, he didn't say Amish, but what he said was that they studied all these. So, what he said was that almost every autism case, the child has been vaccinated. And he said there's literally like a handful of cases where the child was not vaccinated, but the child ended up having autism. But in all of those cases, mom was vaccinated while pregnant.
Ooh.
Everyone.
Wow.
And he says, and he did cite the case. It was Coast to Coast AM last night if you want to go, I don't know.
Oh, no, I know. It's so overwhelming. We did a vaccine education summit a few years ago, and that's why we had Dr. Judy Mikovits on every 2 weeks. And we used to have her on every week for like a first year.
I love her.
And I was like, I'm going to tell your story. We keep up on this stuff because it's so overwhelming, the evidence. It is desperation. It's like Facebook and Google and YouTube and all them. They're doing away with anybody that you can't be anti-vax on Facebook anymore. You can't have anti-vax video. You can't. They are in desperation freaking mode, and I don't care. I'm like, Derek, just give us family, community, our own. They can't stop immutable internet, or they can suck it, and they can do whatever the hell they want, and people will leave in droves by being cattle prodded off of your platforms. Go ahead. You just keep doing what you're doing. We'll be right back. More. Jay Noon, Derek Slopey, Ernest Hancock from Bangor, Maine. In just a little bit.
That's the first time I ever heard it.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Declare your independence with Ernest Hancock continues after the news, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,307. Silver opened at $15.46, and Bitcoin is trading around $3,851. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a recent report from the New York Times shows that the National Security Agency has quietly shut down a controversial phone record surveillance program revealed by whistleblower Edward Snowden in 2013. The claim was made by a senior Republican congressional aide who told the newspaper that the Trump administration had stopped using the program, which analyzes the domestic call and text logs of American citizens due to technical problems. Minpress News reports that Snowden on Twitter hailed the news as a victory, while Intercept journalist Glenn Greenwald, who broke the Snowden story to international acclaim, took the story at face value. Neither of them raised the obvious question. Is the shutdown of the program merely a smokescreen to continue spying on American phones under new or different secretive programs? Further doubt has been cast on the New York Times report, as the NSA refused to confirm or deny the story. But during a recent major security conference, the agency did claim that they are still in a deliberative process about whether to use a revamped version of the vast database of American phone records. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Your news now continues. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry has announced the filing of a petition supplement naming persons who may have information related to the use of explosives at the World Trade Center. The Free Thought Project reports that Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth says the 33-page document contains 15 different categories of persons who may have information material to the investigation, including contractors and security companies that had access to the World Trade Center towers before 9/11, persons and entities who benefited financially from the demolitions, and persons arrested after being observed celebrating the World Trade Center attacks. The Lawyers Committee for 9/11 Inquiry successfully submitted a petition to the federal government demanding that the U.S. Attorney present to a special grand jury extensive evidence of yet-to-be-prosecuted federal crimes relating to the destruction of 3 World Trade Center towers on 9/11-2001. After waiting months for the reply, the U.S. Attorney responded in a letter, noting that they will comply with the law. Venezuelan authorities continue working to bring back online the electric grid following a massive outage that began Thursday, March 7th. According to the anti-media, on-ground testimonies and official sources say that power finally began to reach Venezuela's western states on Monday night. Electricity has now been restored, at least in some areas of every state. President Nicolas Maduro gave a televised address Tuesday evening, offering more details about the alleged attack against the country's electrical infrastructure. According to Maduro, both the computerized system in the Curry Dam on Thursday afternoon and the central electrical brain in Caracas on Saturday morning suffered cyber attacks, while recovery was delayed by physical attacks against transmission lines and electrical substations. Maduro claimed that the attacks were directed from Chicago and Houston, and that more evidence will be presented soon. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new teen trend of walking wet and nude couldn't have caught on at a worse time, and a taxpayer is outraged. And lo, the Lord said unto the Israelites, Look unto the heavens, and you shall see a news review program to rival the greatest wonders of the earth. This is the Onion Week in Review. As a front of dense, frigid air and snow showers brought sub-zero temperatures to much of the country this week, Canton, Ohio residents noted that the blanketing of snow they had received created the illusion that their town was not a total shithole. Residents added that unlike its typical depressing reality, the snow-cloaked town actually looked halfway livable.
Canton is usually a miserable little dump, but, you know, when that first snow fell and, covered everything in a layer of white powder, for about 5 minutes it was like not everything I saw depressed the living out of me.
Reports from locals also confirmed that for a brief period, the streets, parks, and buildings around them gave the surprising impression of not being a run-down, heartbreaking excuse for a hometown.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yep. Bangor, Maine is getting a dose live from the we got to come up with a name for this thing. He's calling it the warehouse, but I'm just like, got to be something else.
Well, it's still a work in progress, and maybe we should offer a little bounty for some Satoshi for a name or something.
Yeah, you come up with a good name we like. You can come on. You can pimp it on the show.
Yeah,
we'll do that. We'll have something by the time we get to Fork Fest or something. We'll hopefully have a name, because we got to reference this place to something. One of the guys that studies here, been around forever. Ben is another Derek geek guy, and but he's going to be talking about controllers. A lot of the things that can be done with the computers, and the stuff that used to you could do all kinds of things were so expensive, and now it's like they pay you to haul off the chips. Here, I got this. Take this pallet, with you. It's like you're trying to get rid of old jeans or something. So Ben, what we're going to be tell the audience what we're going to be talking about.
Controllers. Just to introduce people to controllers. Controllers are simple computers.
Make mic closer.
Yes, controllers are all around us. They even though they're generally they're working if we're not aware of it. We don't generally want to be aware of the controllers around us, because that means that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're your folks' furnaces have controllers. The air conditioner has a controller on it. If they got electronic locks, those have an electronic controller. Their electric stove has a controller, most likely, or very likely, the newer ones. Their dishwasher has a controller. They go outside.
So all appliances, microwaves, your coffee maker, refrigerators.
Yes.
Your refrigerator's got a freaking TV that watches you now.
Your car is loaded with them.
Oh, your car is chock full of
mechanical controllers too, like governors on diesel engines.
Yes,
and these are all simple.
Yeah,
controllers.
the newer diesels, benefit greatly from better controllers.
Yeah, I knew JJ. I know all about controllers. Man. You want to show controllers? I got a controller for you.
Traffic lights have they're controlled by controller. The street lights, even real simple controller. Factories, of course, are full of controllers that allow machines to do. And now at a factory level, those controllers have to a lot of these have to be extremely reliable because if a machine makes a mistake, it could damage the equipment, or it could damage a person. It could damage a worker. So it's very important that these things are trusted, and they generally are. I'd say again, they make them simple, but these are becoming more and more common in our environment, and there are some. There are some traditions in the controller industry that we know better ways, but we're carrying some craft in the way we do things, and there's a lot of more that we're expecting of them, and many of us don't believe that our existing technology is up to the standards that we require, as these have a bigger influence on our life. But another issue is I want access to them. I want to be able to, if I don't like the way my dishwasher is running, I want to be able to control that. And if I don't like the way other appliances, my furnace, I need to be able to do that.
Everybody wants to, but I'd like to have the freedom whether I ever do it or not.
I don't want to have to be have to do like Derek level diagnostic to be able to talk whatever protocol it is, or reverse engineer it, or reflash it. I would like to have controllers that can be understood at every level and accessed at every level.
Okay, let me give you a good example. These new refrigerators, they have a screen on the front, and you can access it, the camera inside the refrigerator from your phone or your tablet or whatever, and you don't even have to open it to know what's in there. It has it's got a window on the front of the screen. You can see what's in there. I don't have to open it. Yeah, but I like that little cold on my face but you're losing a lot of energy. So I go in, and it goes, all right, you can see what's in there.
Yes.
It can also RFID, whatever's in everything's got an RFID, and then keep a build-to inventory of it, knows when to order stuff. All of a sudden it shows up in your front Amazon insulated box and put it in your refrigerator. Also, it can take a picture of you, every time that you go. It's getting to the point whether it's taking a picture of you or not. And I don't need a device that has that much information. Sure as hell not going to Alexa. There she goes. Anyway, so I go, I don't need all that data, all that information. I would like to have all these features that I could control. I could turn on, I could turn off.
Right.
And it happened with Think Penguin here. They had the open routers back, and they were making a big deal out of, we did the firmware on you, blah, blah, blah. Now you can't buy a router that you can have access to the software in, or the firmware or something, to be able to do what you want. It's doing what they want.
Yep.
So what you're talking about is all these devices that have all these powers that give you, for convenience.
Right.
It's like having Facebook, it's got all this convenience, but the price of that is all this other stuff, and you don't know what's in there, and you don't have access to change it.
Right. That's common industry. It doesn't need to be that way, but that's what we're buying.
And you have a solution? Solution for me. I don't care about everybody else. I'm about me.
There's a small group of us that are laying the groundwork for controllers that we can trust. And by extension, we're laying the groundwork for computers that we can trust, because controllers are just generally just simple computers. But this is a years-long project, and we've been working on it for a couple of years, identifying issues at every level and better solutions. And a lot of these things we know how to do, and they're proven. A few of them are not quite well proven. But yeah, we're working on it.
Well, and
And?
I got a whole bunch of people working on it. What do you
Yes.
got to do to accomplish it?
Well, one thing is we can look at this. Here's two design goals. We need, and this is pretty extreme, particularly when you consider having a computer like this. We need to have a computer that one can understand the entire stack, and I mean you don't
stack.
Need to be,
I hear this stack.
Oh,
hey,
yes.
where's
Let's
the stack?
clarify
What's the
that.
stack? You sound
Yeah.
like Jay.
Stack
what
can
the hell
be
are you talking
ambiguous. Yep. by stack, I mean the software. I mean compilers if they're used.
Compiler. What's a compiler?
Now, compiler is it's a method for turning a language that is convenient or for the programmer to program into a language that the machine needs to.
Okay, so if you're doing like Rust, and I sound all sophisticated like I know what I'm talking about because I've heard that. Okay, so Rust is a computer language. It has Rust is not necessarily processed by the machine. It's for the user to be able to have the ease of programming.
Right.
But it still has got to be converted to ones and zeros, machine code or whatever, for a computer. So what you're talking about, a compiler, is what? The interface between the two or something?
So Rust uses the LLVM, which is...
LVM! Oh, God!
LLVM.
LVM, what the hell's LVM? You guys are killing me,
I love LVMs.
LLVM. No, which is a good project, but it's of course it's a very complicated project, and that I know that doesn't make it simpler. But on the other hand, but that's true. Even I'll just say that when a fellow sits down to his computer and he writes Rust code, that's not what the language that he sees is not the language that the end computer that's executing that code
So
sees.
between the two, there's a compiler.
There's a compiler, and that actually opens up a whole. If we want to talk about another can of worms,
As long as you don't use code words and abbreviations and acronyms,
I'll just
because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I won't answer. I won't be able to provide answer, but I'll ask this question: do we trust our compiler? Do we trust everybody who has code in that compiler?
Do we trust our FizzBarts?
In this case,
What make a difference if I don't know what the hell a FizzBart is?
We need to address that.
I just do
We are
you trust your FizzBart? Jay, do you trust your FizzBart?
I didn't.
From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800. 602-264-2800. And now, Ernest Hancock.
You know, I don't take callers because I don't have the board op. And I see the light blinking, you know, because we have a light system, you know, blink, 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 blink. And I'm going, I know they're called a lot of times, you know, it's telemarketer or something. But I'll go, you know, if we did a telegram thing that we'll set up and stuff like that, you have, and then it's like, you know, here come the trolls and they all start beating up each other, and I'm like, whatever, you know, it's not the same as what it used to be, but and I've had board ops before. When I had board ops, it was awesome. You know, they'd screen them like they're a human being or something. And I didn't care, you know, take it. Well, which order? Who do you want? I go, take them in order, man. I don't give a crap. You know, bring it on. Well, that's one thing that we might do with the phone. We'll do the telegram. So that's one thing Derek and I this weekend will be working on. We're still developing a lot of stuff. So when it gives a number, one of these days we might even use it. And then you could do it to where you can come on the Discord and you could do audio. You could do it. We have all the stuff. It's just, man, you know, it's me and Donna. You know, and she's busy doing other stuff for Phoenix, man. It's, you know, damn. You know, you want me to do all this stuff? Well, send me $1 gazillion. I'll get right on it, you know. We're talking with Ben, and he's, you know, a coder. I mean, you've done a lot of things, but I'm just like, you know a lot of stuff. You can do a lot of this stuff. Did you ever finish anything? I need this done. If you're going to do this, if I want to help and invest and doing some time and watching and you're going to get this done for me before the overlord AI kills me?
Nobody's finished this yet. This is something that
I don't give a crap or stuff, but I want you to do it. I don't give a crap if anybody else did it.
Right, and that's why I said earlier that this is a years-long project, and it's something that.
Okay, I got a controller. And it does whiz bang this. There's already code out there. People already know how to. Hell, Derek's writing it. You're writing it. They're doing the code, and I'm going, okay. So give me a controller that has open source software that I can do and plug in my laptop. Next, boom.
Derek's a great coder. Derek's code is clean, and he really thinks he thinks things through, and he writes clean code. But his code is only one layer. If you can't trust the layers below it, then you can't trust the final thing. His code is compiled, so do we trust the compiler? Can we trust the compiler? And it's used in an operating system. If you can't trust the operating system, you can't trust.
Okay, so you're wanting to write a whole new operating system.
Here's the other thing: if you can't trust the hardware, then you can't trust anything that runs on top of it. You can't write super clean code, any software on top of untrusted hardware. So if we're buying untrusted hardware, which is backdoored or whatever, then
this is one thing Derek was mentioning. I don't know if you heard yesterday. He goes like this. He said, Ben told me that there's a little subcomputer of a Linux on the chip.
It's Minix, actually. In fact, the creator of the Minix operating system wasn't even aware until just recently when it was discovered that Pentium has been putting a secret operating system on all their chips since the 90s. So Minix.
So you're advocating for building your own freaking chip? I mean, how far we got to go?
That's what we have to do.
Is that what you're designing?
No, we don't need to.
I mean, tell me how deep the rabbit hole goes here, man.
Yeah, that's a good question. How deep it is? Now, it actually goes. It's comical because when you start looking at how to design hardware and the conventions.
Are you advocating that you're going to be getting down to designing hardware? Because if you keep saying this, you got to trust, you got to trust, you got to trust. Well, then start at the beginning and quit wasting your time.
Start on top of existing hardware?
No, start at the beginning of freaking, silicon chip making. I mean, what are you going to...
There's that we're exposing some other issues. We need to... Do we trust our suppliers of the chips? If I specify a chip and I say this is exactly what it's going to be, spec-wise, traditionally in the industry, they can meet those specs and add backdoors and other things. And as long as to you it always looks like it always performs to the spec, then there's no problem.
Now, see, this is what we went through with Think Penguin. When I got this computer here, they went to great pains to get the motherboard that didn't have all the trusted program module of this. Because you look at this, a good example. I go to my grandkids and I go, do you know how a cell phone works? And they go, oh, absolutely. Bring that sucker over here, man. I turned on the card, I started pushing buttons, and I go, no. So I had one old Motorola, whatever, that I busted the display. Anyway, I had it apart, and I put it in the thing. I'll fix it later, never. Okay. So I got it, and I opened it up. It's got the little board there, and I go, no. Do you know how it works? And I show them all the little black squares. And I go, do you know what this little black square does? And they go, no. Do you know what this one does? No. Do you, Papa? I go, hell no. I have no idea what this does. So I'm going, this, and neither do we. So what, Think Penguin did is they supposedly got a board that didn't have a lot of this stuff on. Now they can't get them. Mm-hmm. So I'm going, I don't know what they're doing. I should have Chris Wade from Think Penguin, and talk about this some more. But the thing is what you're talking about, if you keep saying that you're never going to get anything done unless you find a chip that you trust. It's an Arduino super, we sanded it down and layer by layer mapped it out and did something.
Yeah, we can destructively test a chip to confirm what the gates are. However, that poses a few problems. One, generally any chip you buy today that's common. Now we can get some really simple chips, but it's extremely difficult for somebody to figure out what is going on these more complicated chips.
Now that's how they do it. They like. They scan it, or they sand it, or they cut it, or they scrape it, or whatever, and see each layer, because it's not just 2D now. They're getting like their three-dimensional crap.
And this is something that people can do in their basement. It's something that small, that you can do on a small scale. You can verify.
It's a just button. You can just do this in your basement. Is it one of those?
Well.
Now, can you disable these chips without destroying the capability?
You can cut their power.
Cut the power of the spy chip and still use the rest of the benefits.
Not
of the
if it's
chip.
on the same silicon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, a lot of times it's all part of the same black square on your board.
Right.
That's the whole thing about these Intel processors. They do so much stuff on the chip, and now there's like a billions of dollars, $4 billion industry, 10 billions, okay, that they're talking about AI chips for automatic driving. These Tesla kind of things. We're going to have this Uber chip. We're going to call it an artificial intelligence chip for like one thing. Then you start getting, Derek will start going off about general artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence for just scanning is not the same as blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's a freaking black little chip. That's all I know. Does it or does it not do what I want it to do? And then some,
So isn't, I heard a Huawei guy on
Huawei, what's that mean?
Huawei is the telecommunication company, the Chinese one, where they arrested the chief financial officer, who's a daughter of the founder up in Canada.
Dealing with Iran.
Well, so they're suing the federal government in Texas, and there was a little interview on RT, and I listen to RT quite a bit, actually. I like it. And anyways, RT, the guy who was talking about Huawei, the little Asian guy on the TV, he was saying that they have no back doors that the government and the NSA can't access their chips, is what they said. They have no back doors in it, and they're saying this is why the United States is so pissed off at them and doesn't want them. I just heard a little blurb about this the other day. So when you
it's
start,
not because they got back doors, because they don't.
Because they don't, allegedly.
Not that
how
I
do you
believe
know?
either way, you know. Well, Ben would know. He's got a stander.
Yeah, we're going to go in Ben's basement with a Huawei phone.
Yeah, he's got
Find the back
6,000
door.
grit sanding, you know.
The trick there is if you design,
You got to get up on it. We're going
if
into
you
break.
design a chip, Ben, you're going to.
And time's up.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nesquik. Try Nesquik 4-packs, perfect for lunches and great for kids on the go. Look for it in the juice aisle. Snack time is a great chance to sneak extra calcium into your child's diet without making him feel like he's eating something he doesn't want. Serve up dairy-rich foods like smoothies, flavored milk, frozen yogurt, and string cheese. He'll love the treat, and you'll love knowing how good it is for him. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's
and now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Hey, where's Donna?
Because it's not. It's.
I guarantee when you get done, I'm going to repeat what you said. In one
you guys
minute.
get a hold on it.
Okay, I'd be interested to hear that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's what it always comes down to. Everybody's always doing. I go. So what you're saying is, and I say it in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron. I'm really excited. You got to go look at everything we did last night.
So Shallon's up if somebody wanted to go.
And we're back? Are we back?
I believe so.
I think we're back. We were yakking and everything. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Rabbit hole. All right. We're going down. This is the challenge. Ben is going to, freak us out on blah, 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 and go walk down the rabbit hole. And I'm for, can we just get to the bottom of the rabbit hole and work up? And he's going, all right, I'm going to explain all this to you, and I guarantee I'm going to be able to repeat everything he says so Grandma can understand in 1 minute when we get done. All right, go.
All right, software is on software, is on hardware. And now we need to examine holistically all those things, but that's not as low as a level as it goes, because there's lots of different design philosophies of hardware. And one of that is that the foundations of that are math and physics. And while physics makes a pretty good, that's a good foundation for designing hardware, our mathematics is tightly coupled to physics. And even the way we express our math has a bunch of ambiguities and flaws that we tried to carry into the computer world, and it burns us over and over again. So we actually have to address some problems in the way we view, even the way we express things in mathematics. There's some things that we assume to be true, and this gets very controversial. So that's why I was saying
my eyes are already glazing. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know how far I should.
No,
yep.
do your thing, man. Go.
All right. And this is where it gets really fuzzy, because there are folks out there like Norman Wildberger. He's got some really good content if people want to follow him. He's written a book. He's a mathematician, and just in simplifying the way we express math, foundations. He's exposed that some of the foundations of math, including the set theory, it's flawed, and we could be expressing that a lot better with type theory. Type theory is something that shows up over and over again in computer science, and it's a better foundation. So there's that. I could go a little further in a few other areas. If
I don't know.
like.
Just start going down, man, and get to the bottom. Go.
Okay, that's the bottom is well. If again we step back and we look at our goal, that that one can understand the entire stack. We want trusted controllers. So I need to be able to control, not only understand it, I need to be able to control the entire stack. And by stack, I mean from the way I design the systems that it's designed on, the actual physical hardware, the software that's built on that, and the software that's built on that, and the way they communicate with each other. So there's protocols. All those different things. We need to take a holistic approach to the whole thing. Everything needs to be clear. And so we need to.
Where did this? Okay, I give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the 70s, I was over at a friend's house, and his brother or something worked at some software, who gives a crap, Honeywell or something, whatever it was. And they had, back then in the 70s, oh my God, they're paying $5 an hour to work on the assembly line at this software. You can have an apartment and work full time with your girlfriend and live and move out, and you got a job at $5 an hour making, blah, blah, blah. So that was the thing back then. But what happened was, it was about, imagine like a 3x3 square that was like a negative. It was a negative, like a black and white negative of film. And it was up on his wall, and it just had there, and it was a circuit. It was a chip. And that is what they made down to itty-bitty tiny living space, to put on your calculator or something. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, all right, well, each one of those lines, that circuit, went and did a transistor of, because now you had vacuum tubes that was, this and that or that, kind of, as a switch on, off, and that's how computers, and it filled up a freaking building. This warehouse is a big, giant computer. Then they go, all right, well, we're going to go to transistors, which then I remember, oh, my God, you can go down to Radio Shack and buy your own transistors. You get a resistor, you get a diodes, and, diodes, it flows only one way. Resistors change the voltage, or transistors on, off, and blah, blah, blah. Then you could take that and you could put it onto a silicon chip.
Well, then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Then they're talking about, well, how small can you make these tunnels? Well, this is where we're talking about the miners. The miners are 13 nanometer. You're getting really teeny tiny. You can put a whole bunch of processing power and how many guesses and hashes I can do on my miner. Well, now they're going 7 nanometer chips. And I'm going, are they even going to be able to do that? Well, my son, makes a lot of the robots or the cabinets for Intel, his company that he's, a site manager director for, is that he's going, yeah, to get down to 7 nanometers, I'm going to hear about it because they're going to need me to be able to make the equipment to do it. So he goes, are they going to be able to do it? Then Samsung comes out with their foldable screen phone that's $1,200 or $1,900 or something for this damn thing. And you go and they going 7 nanometer technology. I go, damn, they did it. At some point, you're not going to be able, the crystals of silver that they do to make the negative, to even do that, they aren't that small. So now they have to come up with, I don't know, electron, beaming, etching, whatever the hell they're going to do to get this stuff smaller, to the point they're finally just going to use crystals and Superman's green crystal of I got every freaking movie ever made on this one chip kind of crap. So when you're talking about this and you're going down, I'm wondering, how much we can understand, how complicated these are, and what level at the bottom of the rabbit hole. And then somebody's digging at the bottom of the rabbit hole again.
All right, we shouldn't be looking at the 7 nanometer. Doesn't interest me. 200 is the smallest I would ever want to see. Because when you start getting smaller and smaller, you need to have I forget what they call them, but it's like it's a manufacturing processes that are responding to things that are changing. Plus, at the really small scale, you have to. There are other weird things that you have to. Anyway, you start
getting them to quantum. I remember a friend of mine. His son is a computer science major, master, blah blah blah. Went to work for Microsoft and everything at Arizona State University. And he was saying we get so small that we were doing light and photons and fiber optics, and it converts to electrons. That interface is starting to get into the point to where you got quantum, random plasma balls of it. Starts getting to where you're getting so small, you're into like Ant-Man and the Wasp, and you're into freaking the nano world of it doesn't matter anymore.
The main issue is that as it gets smaller, it gets more complicated, and we don't need complicated. We need simple. I'm happy with technology that was in use in the 70s.
It doesn't have
that's
to be
the level.
fast. It has to be known. It has to be
very
secure.
good. Yes.
So the first thing is you're looking is that you're getting a little too small, and I don't so
it doesn't work.
200 nanometers. So you're looking at a device the size of a cell phone. You go, you know what? I could be secure with the size of a tablet.
We can have
but I mean the
small.
point is that it's a little bit bigger. Who gives a crap?
But it's not going to support everybody's all the software. It's not going to support all the things.
But it's going to do what you want, which is control devices and my just robot that's not going to kill me.
Right. It's going to control the robot.
It's going to be a sex robot that's oral sex safe.
And it's going to control the power supply and the communication channels for those complicated devices.
All right.
So by you controlling the power supply and the communication channels for your power devices means you can shut off the NSA, spy camera,
to a degree,
things like that.
Yes.
There's some cell phone that a guy sent me a link to the other day. They're coming out with that $650 is a pre-buy on it. They're 6 months out, I guess, and it basically has switches and actual real switches to shut off like certain parts of the phone, like the mic, the camera. I got a link here on my phone. I can send it to you guys, but it's supposed to be like very secure.
I remember John McAfee came on my show, and he's a privacy phone. If I got the switch, but the man requires that it be able Trump to send you a text.
Huawei.
Huawei. That's one thing. That's the interesting thing that they're pissed off at Huawei is not because it's hacked, it's because they can't hack it.
Right. That's what the Huawei guys are saying.
No, that's good. I mean, not that I believe anybody until Ben sands it down. But,
right.
So what you're talking about is we don't need all this uber-duber. When we come back, we're going to try and we got one more segment, man. You got to skip to the end.
Okay.
So 200 nanometer, and you can see when
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The American Psychiatric Association has issued an alarming study warning that the nation's used car salesmen are going completely insane, and in some extreme cases, practically giving cars away. The APA traces the outbreak of widespread hysteria to an apparent overstock of high-quality late-model cars begging to be driven off the lot today. Some severe symptoms include delusions, manic exuberance, and a psychotic commitment to offer the lowest prices guaranteed. Victims' families are joining together to raise awareness of this serious psychological epidemic.
The authorities found out how unbelievably low his prices were. They'd lock him up and throw away the key.
You are not alone. Over half of America's used car salesmen are currently going bonkers.
Car dealers suffering from this condition are prone to project their own disorders onto others. According to Mad Max, the Car Czar's website, you're out of your mind if you're not taking advantage of these low, low prices.
This is the Onion News Network.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
My brother once.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
Can't identify the drones.
Oh, we're back?
Yes.
Yeah, see, we got to keep talking. You know, man, I got looking at the time here. Okay. Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock and live in Bangor, Maine. All right. Ben, you got one more second, 10 minutes. I'll leave you alone. Skip to the end. Go.
All right. I wish I had a product for you right now. I think that part of it is the realization that everything's broken. But that there are ways that we could have these, and these are essential. But the reality is that there are millions of people walking around with smart devices, and they're comfortable with those being a two-way spy device. They're comfortable with not knowing what the thing is doing, and they're comfortable with its increasingly
I'm not sure they're
sluggish
comfortable.
behavior.
They're willing to accept the drawbacks for the convenience.
Right.
If they had an option, if you had a privacy device, I choose you. That's a feature, not a flaw.
Right. What I'm talking about is not to reform the industry. I don't believe that's possible.
I don't care. I just want what I want.
Right. There's a small. I believe there are small niches where that are interested in this sort of thing. So again, this is not about changing the existing infrastructure. This is building something from the ground up that's suitable for those areas where there's nothing suitable for now.
I want an appliance that I can trust. I want a household robot that I can trust. Yes. I want my Just robot to do what I just want without just killing me. I want. This is going to become a thing, man.
Right.
It's like iRobot with Will Smith. You know, it was getting updated to the central command of what I need to have the old robots to where they don't do that.
Yes.
You can't leave. It's for your own protection.
Right. You know, we have determined that you're a biggest threat to yourself, and we're here to help human life, and we decided that you're in the way. I mean, whatever.
Right. Now, and there are ways to do this better. There's not one way to do this better, but there's lots of ways that we are traditionally done that aren't good. And so we're working on what we believe is and we're going for extreme simplicity at every level. And we've been able to cut out a lot of things. But really what we hope to see, and we're going to need to see, is we're going to have to see other people, developers who who we would like to help educate, but who become exposed to simpler ways to doing things and are willing to do those things. I think a lot of those people are going to be people who are new to it, because this is stuff that you can teach to a fourth grader. This is stuff that's very much like programming in the 80s.
There are, let's say Taiwan. Mm-hmm. Taiwan was, making all kinds of chips. They got the old equipment of the old, and they still do for some easy controlling of whatever the hell.
Yep.
Even think Penguin, they were going to where it was a device. It's like Tails or something. Mm-hmm. You run the entire computer is a USB drive that just takes over the BIOS, and your keyboard and monitor becomes theirs, and the computer is a USB.
Yeah.
Then you go to the motherboard, So I'm going, okay, you got a USB. Can you do it on a USB bin?
We have looked into that.
Waiting on you now.
USBs we're not happy with. The SD cards, however, has an open standard. It's a serial. It's a one-wire serial interface. There's also a four-wire serial interface that may be open. I don't recall, but
there's another one that these cards. I think it's like this card right here that you see in my Convex asset. This thing right here can be a computer. It plugs in, and it's just and that's what Think Penguin was talking about. Mm-hmm. They go, your laptop is not the computer. This thing you put in your wallet is.
Right.
So if you could get down to that one thing right there, and you can do whatever, there you go, waiting on you. Let's go. Let's go. What are we waiting on?
Right.
What? Just what? Just button?
Where are we at with the project? We have begun our first physical prototype.
Okay, prototype of what? A chip? This is USB, a computer. What are you talking about?
This would be a very this is a chip that has been in manufacture for decades. It's a very simple chip. In fact, it revolutionized the industry because of its simplicity, and then people added more and more complexity to it. We're using that no, we don't need that chip. That chip is just convenient. So it's a 6502 created by Chuck Peddle, who grew up in this area, that was the chip inside your Commodore 64, your Commodore VIC-20, your NES, and they still manufacture thousands of them.
They sent man to the moon on this crap. I mean, okay.
Not on that chip, but on a chip with similar capability. So yeah, you can do incredible things with very simple technology. In fact, we have techniques, networking techniques and communication techniques that simplify things far better today. They're not in common use because we have other complicated stuff that's good enough that people are happy with. But we could be taking simpler hardware much further. And now I'm not going to be able to tell everybody everything that we're doing, only because so much of it is still quite fuzzy. But I can tell them my heroes, and I can tell them directions if they're interested in kind of
who's
this area.
So you're on the show. I mean, what are you advocating? You need help? You want to create a hacker space? You want to create a worker thing, an online
right now,
kick-ass what?
I want to create a hunger. I want people to say, yeah, things aren't good enough.
Hunger right here. I
yes.
want to have where I can control and the man is not in at every level of every chip of everything of every do it. Wait, I'll buy it right now. Let's go.
Right. I don't have a product to sell you. And even if I did, we don't have the network of people who know how to educate. And eventually, again, I want this something so that somebody who's motivated and interested and has the aptitude for understanding mechanical things can understand what's happening at a chip level, at a software level, and have access to every level. We need to write software simpler. We need to write software in extremely simple modules. And it's one really good community for learning how to do that is the Forth community. In fact, Thinking Forth by, I believe his name is Leo Brody, wrote that. It's a free book. It's a great book for that. Stack Machine, The New Wave, if you're looking for a more complicated mechanical or like a hardware application for that. Another, at a higher level, getting devices to talk that even though they're different and you start to run into physical issues because of information appearing different in different places. Carl Hewitt created the actor model. I encourage you to look at his content. His book is Consistency, Robustness, and then another one for networking. TCP/IP stack is a very complicated mess, but John Day wrote Patterns in Networking Architecture, where he explores that at a deep level, and he shows how he doesn't show a better way, although there is there is a good example out there. He shows you how to design a better networking stack.
Okay, I put in here, I did a search on simple, secure chip design of whatever. How much does it cost to design a simple chip? Answers. The resources of this, it's like $100K or $25K, or which means you can do it for $5. So I'm just going, yes, there are people talking about and doing this. There's not a big industry for this. And when there is an industry, think Penguin's a perfect example. You're not allowed.
There's no government subsidy for this. That's the problem.
There's no government. You're allowed for this.
That's right.
And when you do, they come explain it to you or they hire you. That's why they do all these hackathons is to get, they get the 13-year-old, now you're working for the NSA. So I understand, and it's going to be, we got billions of people on this planet, and half of the planet's not even online, and here they come, and that's what I think those are worried about is exactly what you're talking about. They're going to be outside of their purview, and you're going, I just need 200 nanometer, I don't care.
Right.
Let's go.
And I know without explaining too far what gates are, but we folks might be interested. We don't believe that we need more than about 20,000 gates, not including RAM on our processor.
Oh, 20,000. Is that a low number?
That's an extremely low number that hasn't been seen since the 80s.
So, a Pentium chip has millions now? Golly, man.
So we can manufacture these with older technology. We can also, there's some really interesting technology out of Japan. Japan is making an incredibly small chip manufacturing device that pretty much you'd be able to print chips in a relatively small room. You still need the chemicals, which some of the chemicals are really scary, like hydrofluoric acid. But
3D print some chips. I like it.
Don't laugh.
You're prototyping on a chip. Right now, you're prototyping on a chip, and then you're starting to develop software at this point.
Right now, we're proving things on very simple hardware. It doesn't need to be this hardware. There's a variety of hardware. Particularly if somebody wants to pursue stack machines are about the simplest hardware.
So your advocacy is not so much that you do it, but advocating that it be done.
No, we're doing it. But we're also advocating. If somebody else does this so we don't have to, we've got other things we'd like to be doing. But we're doing it because nobody else is doing it.
So you need this to do the other stuff you want to do without being, NSA robot.
We need all of it. We need a holistic thing. Yeah, at any level.
When they implant the chip into my brain, it better be simple.
Yes. And you better have confidence in that chip.
Okay.
But yeah, you might want that chip in your brain.
Yeah, maybe I want, I'll put a 2-inch chip in my brain instead of the square centimeter chip, but I'm not, I won't go on a homicidal maniac and kill and all whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Ben's advocating. See, this is a high level of freedom that we're talking about because it goes down to the very nitty-gritty of we are subservient to these little black silicon chips that we have no idea what's in it. And they got the super hacked of We Rule You little chip on one of the board and everything, and it goes into every freaking device that you have that's government approved. And, you're going, yay. Oh, no, don't worry. This is FCC approved chip. You should feel comfortable about that.
Well, like I felt about Hitler approved, concept.
The warnings.